Right there guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we have a James Pearce article to go through and it's titled Liverpool 2.0 and who will be the next sporting director to oversee it. It touches on a few things to start with about the new investment from Dynasty Equity, which we don't really need to touch on, and the fact that Jurgen Klopp's obviously confirmed that his desire is to stay at Liverpool rather than go manage the Germany national team after Hansi Flicker's left. Basically says, I have a loyalty to Liverpool, my heart is here in Liverpool. We're building Liverpool 2.0 here. We want to attack again and not just look at how much longer we can go. So that's that done. And basically, Pearce says here that with the ownership situation now resolved, I personally believe with the Man United situation changing, was this the plan all along, that United and Liverpool were only going to have some sort of part ownership, part sale thing going on? Or is this going to change now for Liverpool? Could the Qataris come for Liverpool? I don't know. I don't really think about it like that way because obviously he's supposed to be a Man United fan. And that's not the topic of this video, but it's just something to think about as well, guys. And he says basically that Klopp is re-energised after a summer of sweeping changes to the playing squad and a sense of stability has returned following a season of upheaval on and off the field. Now, he goes on to say, there is one big decision on the horizon. Who is going to be the sporting director responsible for negotiating the deals to keep propelling Liverpool 2.0 forward? When George took over at the start of June, it was a short-term appointment. He became the club's third sporting director in just over a year following the departures of Michael Edwards and Julian Ward. The experienced German executive, who penned a 12-month contract, was tempted out of retirement after leaving Wolfsburg in January. With the search for Ward's successor dragging on, Schmadtke had been recommended to FSG president by Jurgen Klopp's agent. All parties agreed to sit down after the end of the transfer window to assess the summer and how the arrangement was working. Schmadtke spoke about how they might just shake hands at that stage and agree to go their separate ways. That he remains in the role is a testament to how highly his contribution over the past 4.5 months is valued. Okay, he has been in the director's box at recent home matches, usually sitting with head of recruitment Dave Fowles and chief scout Barry Hunter, with whom he has quickly struck up a working relationship with. Maybe they're both comedians as well, just like Schmadtke was supposed to be. The owners felt his knowledge, contacts and expertise from the Bundesliga would complement what they had, and so it proved. Right, so we signed 2 players from the Bundesliga. Dominic Szoboszlai was a release clause. Tough, that one, really tough. And Ryan Gravenberch, his agent, had already been to Anfield in January before we even knew who George Schmadtke was. But yeah, well, that was all down to him. It was all down to him. Ward stayed on past his initial departure date at the end of May to finalise the McAllister deal before completing his handover to Schmadtke, who secured the deals of Szoboszlai, Endo and Gravenberch. Okay, I forgot about Endo. Endo's in there as well. But from what we've been told, that was a Klopp signing who Klopp had wanted for years, apparently, if you believe Klopp's interview when we first signed him. Solid challenges, so I don't need to touch on that. Schmadtke came in for criticism external in August when Liverpool missed out on the signings of Caicedo and Lavia, who both joined Chelsea. That was not the case internally, given that Liverpool were late entrants into the Caicedo race. The fee was agreed with Brighton before the player turned them down. As for the failed Lavia bids, Schmadtke was restricted by the owner's reluctance to go beyond their valuation of the young Belgian midfielder. Not being funny, but if we're bringing in a sporting director who's supposed to be in charge of the transfers, and he's supposed to have knowledge of football and this yada yada yada, why are we having the owners say no when they're hiring someone who's an expert in the field who should know what he's doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand obviously that they've got to pull the trigger and there has to be a certain line they won't cross, like, oh, we're not going to spend 200 million on Lavia just because Schmadtke said so. Do you know what I mean? I get that. But when it was 5 million difference at one point, guys, and you're supposed to be putting your trust in Schmadtke that this is the right deal, that to me says that he was never really trusted. I don't know. Maybe it's conspiracy theories, stuff like that, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, you hired, not to repeat myself, but you've hired this man who you believe is the right person, as they've just said there, his expertise and his experience, but then you don't let him spend an additional 5 million. I don't know, guys. The impact of the club's summer signings and the value the owners believe Liverpool extracted from the market during their £145 million outlay has helped paint Schmadtke's work in a positive light. I wonder if that 145 million includes the sale of Henderson and Fabinho, the money there. So, in terms of the dynamic with Klopp, there's been a clear understanding from the start about where the power lies. Schmadtke has a history of clashing with coaches earlier in his career and has described himself as a service provider and assistant to Klopp. He said this in a German newspaper: "I knew the job description and went for it. If I thought that everyone had to dance to my tune, I would be completely wrong here." Schmadtke relishes the fact that unlike in Germany, he is not expected to carry out media duties at Liverpool, and he has kept a low public profile like Edwards and Ward did. I didn't know that was a thing that they did in Germany. Bloody pulling out the bloody sporting directors for media duties. It'd have been good to have had that when we had Rodgers around, wouldn't it, with the transfer committee. You wouldn't have been able to fit them all on a table. It's still a collaborative approach to transfers with input from Fallows, Hunter and Schmadtke, and the data provided by Will Spearman, who took over from Ian Graham. Klopp effectively decides who Liverpool should pursue, and then it is down to Schmadtke to try and negotiate a deal within the financial structure acceptable to FSG. It is a different dynamic from the one between Edwards and Klopp. That double act was responsible for building the team which won the Champions League and the Premier League. I'm not going to cover all this stuff here about Edwards, there's no point. And again, that's just touching on that stuff there. Edward left, Ward gone, blah 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 blah. So where will Liverpool turn next? They will not be turning the clock back. The Athletic revealed last month that Edwards was launching a new consultation business called Ludonartics with Graham. They offer their services to ownership groups about how to incorporate the use of data into running clubs. Edwards has turned down the sporting director's role since leaving Liverpool and does not intend to go back down that route. Schmadtke under contract until the end of the season. Liverpool intend to consider their options over the coming months. So if he's doing such a good job, why are you considering your options? Why don't you give him a contract extension? Unless Schmadtke obviously doesn't want it. Senior Anfield figures have played down reports in Germany that Max Eberl is being considered for the job following his departure from Leipzig. Eberl was recently dismissed from his role of managing director for the sport at the Bundesliga club due to his failure to commit to the club after being strongly linked with a move to Bayern. Yeah, from what I can gather, he basically came out and just said he wanted to go to Bayern. Liverpool's rebuild will enter another phase next summer, with the defence the priority. Matip will be out of contract. Van Dijk will be 33 and down to the final year of his deal. There is the daunting prospect of having to replace Salah if a team from the Saudi Pro League return with a huge offer when he has 12 months left in his contract. That's going to happen, guys. I think we'll probably get Van Dijk a new contract. Matip might be allowed to leave, and I think Salah's on his way as well. Been saying it for months now. Schmadtke has proven to be a decent short-term appointment, and Liverpool emerged from the summer much stronger than they went into. I can agree with that. If you look at the stats, we're pressing more, we've got more legs in midfield, and the performances as well, and the results are coming our way as well. So I agree with that. Now it'll be intriguing to see where Liverpool turn and what kind of authority the next sporting director is granted. And that's that one. So for me, just to summarise this, it does seem to shine Schmadtke in a positive light, and it seems to be a lot of fluff as well. There's a lot of stuff in here that we didn't need to know about, a lot of regurgitated stuff. There, first comment, I just scrolled down, first comment, this article adds absolutely nothing to the discussion about around who will be the new sporting director. Classic international break, clickbait filler. Wasted 2 minutes of my life and a small percentage of my subscription fee to go with it. Oh man. To be fair, I kind of feel that way about this video, but just to summarise this video off and to cap it off, this to me sounds a little bit like Liverpool propaganda, where Pearce has been used to get this out, that they're trying to big up Schmadtke. Obviously, I've had these links come out to this other guy in recent days. I was going to say weeks then. But they're trying to make out that Schmadtke's done a good job. he got a few people in on release clauses. He couldn't get in anyone else to do the DMs. We brought in Endo, who so far, for being perfectly honest, has not really set the place on fire. Gravenberch was a player that we already wanted before we even knew who Boy George was. His agent was at Anfield back in January. And like I say, Szoboszlai was a release clause. I don't know, guys. It just really seems like to me this is a bit of propaganda, and James Pearce has been used to get it out there, and he's willing to do it because basically he's in the bad books at Liverpool. He can't really breathe around Klopp without being told off. So I think this is trying to get back in the good graces with the club with this. So yeah, we'll leave that video there, guys. What do you think about all this? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you are new, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.